There are moments in life when certain behaviors seem inevitable, almost like a desperate escape from the chaos around us. These behaviors often begin subtly, as attempts to escape a persistent feeling of discomfort or emptiness. Over time, these temporary solutions turn into habits, and what once seemed like a fleeting refuge becomes a vicious cycle. The search for momentary relief or a brief sense of peace gradually morphs into a destructive routine. But what is really behind this cycle? What drives someone to repeatedly engage in behaviors they know are harmful? The truth is that these behaviors often stem from a deeper wound, an invisible pain that lurks beneath the surface. They represent attempts to fill a void that feels impossible to fill, a need to reconnect with something missing. Addiction is not just a quest for pleasure or immediate relief. It is a hidden search for meaning, a yearning to heal unresolved pain that evades conscious awareness. Why is it that some people seem trapped in addictions with no apparent way out, while others manage to escape these temptations? Addiction is one of the most complex challenges of the human psyche. It manifests in countless forms, from substance abuse to compulsive behaviors, and often conceals a profound existential void. Is addiction merely a failure of willpower, or is there something deeper at play, something we fail to recognize? To answer this, we must explore addiction through the perspectives of Jung and Gabor Maté, two influential thinkers who delve into the roots of addictive behavior. Their insights reveal that addiction is not just a response to external factors, but a reflection of internal conflicts that remain unresolved. Addiction, they argue, is more than a behavioral issue. It is a symptom of a deeper psychological struggle. For Carl Jung, addiction is neither a character flaw nor a moral weakness, but a symptom of a psyche that has fallen out of balance. At its core, addiction is an escape, a way of coping with psychological suffering or an existential void. When individuals fail to confront their inner conflicts, they often seek solace in addictive behaviors, which temporarily mask their deeper pain. Jung's view of the psyche as a complex network of conscious and unconscious elements underscores his understanding of addiction. According to him, addictive behavior is an unconscious attempt to fill an inner void, which may arise from a lack of meaning, emotional disconnection, or repressed aspects of the self. Jung also believed that addiction represents an escape from reality. In times of stress, anguish, or existential crisis, people may retreat into substances or compulsive behaviors as a way to avoid life's pressures. However, this escape is never permanent, and the return to reality often exacerbates the problem, creating a vicious cycle. Gabor Maté, in his book In the Realm of Hungry Ghosts, echoes similar sentiments. He writes, "False needs, no matter how many times they are satisfied, cannot leave us truly satisfied. The brain can never, so to speak, feel that it has had enough, that it can relax and move on to other essential matters. It is as if after a full meal, you are still hungry and have to immediately strive to get more food." Maté defines addiction as any repeated behavior, substance-related or otherwise, that persists despite its harmful consequences. For Maté, addiction is not just about substances like drugs or alcohol. Behavioral addictions, such as compulsive use of social media, pornography, gambling, or even work, can be equally destructive. He explains that the distinction between passion and addiction lies in control. A passion is something you can regulate, while an addiction controls you. If you are unable to stop a behavior despite knowing its harm, you are likely in the grip of addiction. The causes of addiction have long been debated. While some argue that addiction is a problem rooted within individuals, others see it as the interaction between a person and their environment. Addiction arises when an individual craves a change in their internal state and becomes dependent on an object or activity to achieve this transformation. Natasha Schul, in her book Addiction by Design, highlights how some objects or activities are inherently more addictive due to their design or pharmacological properties. These objects or activities create powerful subjective changes that people come to rely on. Since we are surrounded by such addictive stimuli, it is crucial to explore why some individuals are more vulnerable to addiction than others. Maté argues that all addictions, whether mild or severe, stem from attempts to find relief from suffering and emotional pain. More than a quest for pleasure, addiction is often a way to escape deep-seated pain. Many addicts use substances or engage in behaviors as a form of self-medication for depression, anxiety, insecurities, or traumatic experiences. Maté shares the story of a man who had been addicted to drugs since adolescence. When asked why he continued, the man replied, "I don't know. I'm just trying to fill a void in my life. Boredom, simply a lack of direction." This anecdote underscores how addiction is often rooted in unresolved emotional pain, particularly stemming from childhood. Studies reveal that many individuals with substance use disorders come from abusive or neglectful homes. Such traumatic experiences can sabotage brain development, particularly the dopamine and opioid systems, leading to a predisposition toward addiction. Addiction is not merely about seeking relief. It is a reflection of unmet needs and unresolved conflicts within the psyche. True recovery requires addressing the underlying emotional and psychological wounds that drive addictive behavior. This process demands self-compassion, patience, and a willingness to confront one's vulnerabilities. While the journey is challenging, it offers the promise of profound transformation. Healing from addiction involves cultivating a sense of purpose and meaning in life. Rather than relying on external sources for fleeting pleasure, individuals must learn to find fulfillment within themselves. Practices like mindfulness and meditation can play a crucial role in this process, fostering a deeper connection with oneself and the present moment. Jung believed that lasting recovery involves integrating the shadow aspects of the self, the repressed, unacknowledged parts of one's psyche, into conscious awareness. He famously said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." This profound insight reminds us that true healing requires courage to face our inner darkness and embrace our wholeness. As individuals confront their inner struggles, they experience a radical shift in consciousness, leading to a sense of self-transcendent wholeness. This shift often initiates a spiritual awakening, transforming not only addictive behavior patterns, but also the person's entire outlook on life. One common misconception about addiction is that it stems from a lack of willpower. In reality, addiction reflects a deeper issue, one that requires more than personal resolve to overcome. While individual responsibility is important, lasting recovery often necessitates a power beyond oneself. Social support plays a critical role in this journey. Jung recognized that humans are inherently social beings, deeply influenced by relationships. Addiction, though rooted in internal conflicts, is also shaped by social and cultural dynamics. Emotional or social isolation frequently underpins addiction, as individuals disconnect from others due to shame, fear of judgment, or feelings of misunderstanding. Healing from addiction involves reintegration into the community. This means reconnecting with friends, family, and support networks while distancing oneself from influences that perpetuate destructive behaviors. Positive social relationships provide a space for understanding, acceptance, and growth. Recovery programs like Alcoholics Anonymous or other peer support groups offer collective healing through shared experiences. These groups remind individuals that they are not alone, fostering a sense of belonging essential for recovery. At its core, addiction is a dysfunctional attempt to solve a spiritual problem. It reflects a longing for wholeness and connection, a need shared by most people, whether or not they struggle with addiction. As Gabor Maté writes in The Kingdom of Hungry Ghosts, addiction is a reflection of the emptiness and disconnection that pervade modern life. Healing requires addressing these deeper existential issues, fostering a sense of meaning and connection that transcends fleeting pleasures. Ultimately, the journey to overcome addiction is a journey of self-discovery, a process of becoming whole by integrating the fragmented aspects of one's being. Through the insights of Carl Jung and Gabor Maté, we see that addiction is not a mere behavioral issue but a symptom of unresolved pain and unmet needs. Recovery is not just about abstaining from substances or behaviors, but about confronting the deeper wounds that drive them. This journey demands courage, patience, and a willingness to embrace both the light and shadow within. As individuals work through their struggles, they experience a profound transformation, breaking free from the cycle of addiction and stepping into a life of authenticity, balance, and purpose.